Good morning, I'm Maddie Jansen, and this is the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's everything you need to know to start your day in about 15 minutes.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. State regulators are calling on Chevron to stop persistent oil spills, one flowing on and off since 2003. What the company has to say this morning.
Should medical marijuana be allowed on campuses in California? That's what lawmakers are considering. We'll tell you where that bill now stands.
A long career with the Bakersfield Police Department comes to an end. A local detective loses his life, not on the job, but from an illness prevalent here in the Central Valley. We'll take you to the vigil held in his honor last night. This is Tuesday, August 27th, 2019. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher. And that heat wave is just relentless right now. Yeah,
it was very hot yesterday, but the question is it going to continue? I think we've got a couple more days of triple digits, right, Kev?
Yeah, if you thought yesterday was very hot, today is going to be extremely hot for you. We only hit 100 degrees yesterday. That was the high. We were shy from the record, which was 107, set back in 2010. And we do have some heat advisories in place for the valley, and we have an excessive heat warning out in the desert for this afternoon. So keep this in mind. And again, I can't stress enough. Avoid direct sunlight and take frequent breaks if you can. Drink plenty of water, and those that contain the electrolytes want to stay hydrated and limit any strenuous outdoor activities. I'm a baseball coach. I know it's been a concern for my parents, and we just make sure we have a very easy practice with lots of breaks. So just keep that in mind as we go throughout the afternoon. We're going to start out near 81. 96 at noon, and by 3 o'clock we should be right near 103. For the mountains, we'll be in the upper 60s to start, 92 by noon. By 3 o'clock, a southwest wind at 3, and a temperature right near 93. I'll have much more in your forecast in just a little bit, but first let's send it over to Alex. He's got a check of your morning commute on this Tuesday.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. Taking you outside for the first time this morning to the 99 near White Lane, and it's looking pretty clear on that side of town. We have a couple of accidents that happened within the last 30 or 40 minutes. And the first one's going to be a hit and run on the northbound lanes of Laval Road, just east of the off-ramp, so be mindful of that if you're headed that way. The good news here is that there's no injuries involved, but there is still, of course, one of the cars that is still on scene. The other car, of course, fled. And there's another hit and run on Virginia Avenue near Dorrance Street that just happened about 10 minutes ago, so be mindful if you are if you're in that area. And we'll keep you updated on those crashes as soon as we learn more. But it doesn't look like there's any injuries involved here. So hopefully they can clear things up, CHP, within the next few minutes or so. We'll have another check of your commute coming up in about 15 minutes.
New this morning, a shocking report shows an oil spill west of Bakersfield has been leaking for 16 years, and state regulators say it's getting worse. The spills are at the Chevron oil field near McKittrick. That's about 25 miles west of Bakersfield. Here's a video of one of the spills from last month. This is an oil field where pressurized steam is injected deep into the ground to pull up heavy crude. They call it enhanced oil recovery. One of the spills started in May, but now we're learning about another spill 1,500 feet away. That one has been flowing since 2003. Chevron says about 84 million gallons have flowed since then. The Associated Press reports state regulators have ordered Chevron to stop flow at the second site and stop injecting steam into the ground near the spills. The company reports a third smaller spill near the other two. Officials say no wildlife is threatened and no drinking water supplies have been adversely affected. Chevron says it's working on a solution to plug the leak.
It was a loss that shook the entire community. A Bakersfield police detective died of complications from valley fever on Sunday, and this morning, the shock remains just hours after family and community members held a vigil at the Bakersfield Police Headquarters, remembering his service. Vanessa Dillon joins us live this morning from the downtown headquarters with more. Good morning, Vanessa.
Good morning, Alex. You know, it was a somber night for so many community members here in Bakersfield after the sudden passing of BPD Detective Kevin Hock on Sunday. Now, friends and his tragic death bringing family, friends, and colleagues together. last night to show their support and gratitude for his service. This is video of Officer Kevin Hock back in 2005 with his canine partner. Detective Hock's family joined fellow officers and members of the community last night to remember the man who dedicated his life to public service. He joined the department in 1993 and became a full-time officer 2 years later. Longtime BPD officer and friend Sergeant Christopher Fiola Ace says Hock's passing came as a shock for many, including himself.
It's kind of surreal. It's that a person is here 1 minute and then gone the next, especially someone you're close to. He was a strong officer, a strong detective, a friend, and like I said, I think that it's just surreal, and that hopefully everybody will honor him how he needs to be honored.
Detective Kevin Hock is survived by his wife and son. Family says they had just bought a place in Tehachapi where they could run an animal rescue. Reporting live outside BPD headquarters, I'm Vanessa Dillon, 17 News.
All right, Vanessa, thank you so much.
Man's behind bars this morning after a woman was found shot dead inside her Southwest Bakersfield home. 17's Karen Waugh spoke with friends and neighbors and has their reaction.
According to BPD, several people were detained for questioning, but 65-year-old Jagjit Singh was booked on a charge of murder. Monache Meadows Drive is a quiet cul-de-sac in Southwest Bakersfield, a middle-class neighborhood to many families.
Pretty much everybody's kids run around and have a good time.
But the quiet was disturbed Monday morning.
And I noticed there were 6 or 7 police cars out here, and that they had taped from my tree over to that palm tree. Then I realized something's not good.
Around 11:30, Bakersfield police found a woman shot dead at this house at the end of the block. The coroner's office confirmed she was 37-year-old Sumandeep Kaur Kunar. The coroner ruling her death a homicide.
Seemed like a really nice lady and real happy with her kids.
The house belongs to 42-year-old Gurdeep Singh Kunar, according to property records. Joe Dangler says he's lived next door for nearly 15 years.
You know, I've heard family squabbles, but everybody has those. So it seems to me they're just a normal family.
According to Dangler, Sumandeep Kunar worked for the post office and her husband drove big rigs. He said the couple has a daughter and son, and her husband's elderly parents also live there.
The kids used to, when they were little, they'd come over and play in our water fountain.
When police arrived, Dangler said he noticed them escorting an older man to a patrol car.
They helped an older gentleman dressed in white and with a black turban, but he was handcuffed behind his back.
Now, if you have any more information in this case, you're urged to call BPD at 327-7111. I'm Karen Waugh, 17 News.
Karen, thank you. 4 more people are behind bars in connection to a shooting that happened in the Quailwood neighborhood last weekend. Dozens of shots rang out last Saturday after a party. No one was hurt, but several unoccupied cars were riddled with bullet holes. A 2-year-old girl was nearly wounded when one of the bullets ripped through her home. Police reports reveal the party numerous gang members were at the party, and the gunfire started by rival gang members who drove by the house. Yesterday, police announced they arrested 39-year-old Travis Smith, Damone Morris, 38, and 40-year-old Tyrone Foreman and Jimmy Stewart on various gun and gang charges. 4 other men have already pleaded not guilty in connection with the shooting.
It's pizza with a purpose. California Pizza Kitchen hosting a fundraiser today to benefit the family of a fallen CHP officer. Restaurants across the state will hold an all-day fundraiser with the nonprofit Police and Fire, the Fallen Heroes. Money raised will support the family of Officer Andre Moya Jr. Moya was shot to death by a convicted felon during a traffic stop in Riverside County 2 weeks ago. The fundraiser runs from 11 this morning until 9 tonight. You can present a flyer or just mention the fundraiser to your server, and 20% of the check will be donated to the Moya family.
A man arrested in a 4-year-old homicide case is scheduled to appear in court this morning. Last weekend, KCSO announced an arrest in the 2015 Lost Hills murder of Jose Chavez Ochoa. The sheriff's office says with the help of its SWAT team and Homeland Security, deputies found this man, Porfirio Magana Garcia, in the city of Monache in Los Angeles County. He faces 1 charge of first-degree murder and is being held on a $1.2 million bail. The saga that is college admission cheating scandal continues. Actress Lori Loughlin and her husband, fashion designer Massimo Giannulli, are scheduled to appear before a judge again today. They both pleaded not guilty earlier this year in the bribery scam they're accused of being involved with. The couple is charged with paying $500,000 to get their daughters into USC as crew recruits through neither of them row.
Heads up as you head out the door, the 55-day closure we've been telling you about is officially underway. The 99 northbound on-ramp at Buck Owens Boulevard closed last night. The closure of the 99 northbound off-ramp to Rosedale Highway starts Tuesday, September 3rd. That's next week. Both ramps will be closed for 55 days. Posted detour signs will be in place. This is all part of the Bakersfield 99 rehab project.
Yeah, a lot of traffic around town. You know,
yeah.
I mean, you got kind of stuck in it yesterday. One of our directors.
You just have to know. I mean, if you haven't, and I haven't been on the 99 North in a while, I didn't know if you get in that left lane where it splits, you're stuck until 7 standard.
Guess what? The same thing on the 58.
Yeah.
The same thing happens. If you get into one of those splits, you better be prepared for a detour.
If you have to get off soon, and you don't know where that's going to let up, don't get into the split. Stay to the right where all the exits are, or you could be like me and miss a cut-in at work because you're stuck on the freeway.
You called me frantically yesterday saying,
I don't know when I'm going to get off. I don't know where I'm going.
And you ended up going on the other side of town because of it. So, all right, it is 5:11 now, and still to come this morning on Sunrise, pot at school. Well, it could happen. The bill that's headed to the Senate that could help students suffering from medical conditions to take their medication at school.
And he served his country proudly, and now he's looking for the men he served alongside during Vietnam. 17's Tabitha Mills introduces us and explains the reason it's so important he finds his comrades.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Plant-based chicken is on the way to KFC. Kentucky Fried Chicken is partnering with Beyond Meat to test plant-based chicken products. Starting today, the fried chicken chain will debut vegetarian chicken nuggets and boneless wings at one of its Atlanta locations. Customers are going to get a free sample with a purchase, and depending on customer feedback, KFC could potentially expand the products nationwide in the coming months. KFC says Beyond Fried Chicken will still offer finger-licking good flavor for consumers who are searching for plant-based options. Costco is expanding its operations. The wholesale retailer is set to open its first store in Shanghai today. This comes as trade tensions between the U.S. and China continue to increase. In addition to its U.S. operations, Costco has locations in 11 countries. Well, Labor Day weekend is just ahead of us, and while many Americans will head to the beach, others will be hunting for bargains. It's traditionally one of the best weekends of the year to buy a new car. Dan Chinnaman has a few suggestions for anyone in the market for a new ride.
Labor Day weekend is a good time to look for a deal at a car dealership.
A lot of people see it as like the kickoff of the clearance season.
With dealerships trying to move the previous model year's inventory to make room for new models, it can be a buyer's market, with as much as 17% knocked off the sticker price. But experts say buyers still need to beware.
When you're looking for the great deals, to make sure you're looking not just at the savings, but also that the vehicle is a good car.
Experts suggest arriving early to beat the crowds, checking to make sure the dealership has the specific car you want, and to be prepared.
You should be getting your pricing, you should be considering getting your pre-approvals done well before you get to the dealership, so that when you do get there for the Labor Day weekend, all you really have to do is transact.
And while it's a good idea to be ready to make a deal, it's also important to be willing to take a step back.
Be prepared to not only ask questions, but walk away and think it through and buy another day if you need to.
Keep in mind, those Labor Day deals are often available after the holiday. Dan Chinnaman, NBC News.
A Northern California water park lived up to its name this weekend. Police shut down raging waters in Sacramento on Sunday after a fight over a beach towel turned into a massive brawl. One man was beaten within an inch of his life. He's in the hospital in ICU. Some 40 people were involved in the fight. It all started when two women arguing about who took whose beach towel. No one was arrested, but police identified and photographed everyone involved, and the DA could still file charges. Police say alcohol contributed to the fight.
The family of a disabled man who was fatally shot by an off-duty police officer is calling for surveillance video to be released. A judge has already ruled not to release the footage. The shooting happened inside a Costco in Corona back in June. The family's attorney says Russell and Paola French were at the store with their 2 adult sons, Kevin and Kenneth. Kenneth, who's a diagnosed schizophrenic. Kevin and Kenneth got into a fight, and that's when an off-duty Los Angeles police officer allegedly opened fire in self-defense and killed Kenneth. Before the shooting, Russell says he told the officer his son was schizophrenic.
After hearing Officer Sanchez identify himself as a police officer, I begged and told him not to shoot. I said, we have no guns and my son is sick. He still shot.
Russell and Paola were also shot. Police are investigating whether the shots were excessive and unreasonable. 5:27 now. California schools may soon allow parents to administer medical marijuana to their kids at school. Current law prevents pot from being on campus, period. But that could change. Yesterday, the state assembly passed a bill that lets school boards decide whether parents can give their kids medical marijuana on campus. Current law bans pot on school grounds. That means kids who use medical cannabis have to go off campus to get their medication. The bill now heads to the Senate.